Runestone State Park can be found on Poda Mountain in Heavener, Oklahoma. The Heavener Runestone was believed to have been discovered first by a Choctaw hunting party in the 1830s, and again in the 1870s by Wilson King and two other men who accompanied him as they went to the Poda Mountain to hunt for bears. 10 years later, a copy of the symbols was carefully taken down and sent to the Smithsonian Institution in Washington, D.C. The institution replied that the characters were runic. In 1928, a little girl named Gloria Stewart, for the first time, was able to see the stone upon which these runes were carved. She was so impressed by the mystery of the stone and the beauty of its hiding place that she would spend at least 33 years devoted to finding answers about the runes. One question to be asked is, how did Vikings find themselves in Oklahoma? It is believed that the Vikings made their way to Oklahoma when explorers rounded the tip of Florida and then entered the Gulf of Mexico. From there, they entered the Mississippi River. The boats by which the Vikings traveled, the boats that they had built, were both broad and shallow, allowing them to float in as little as 3 feet of water. With boats of this design, the Vikings had the ability to travel great distances upriver, all the way up into Oklahoma. What's a rune? Runes are a form of writing used by the Vikings to mark gravestones and property markers. They were even used to ward off evil. The runic alphabet only consisted of 24 runes. The Heavener Runestone happens to be a property marker, stating that the nearby valley is Glum's Valley. The first thing to be seen is the office and gift shop. Just to the right of this is the trail that leads down to the Runestone. A winding rock path has been constructed for those who've come to see the Runestone. It fits in perfect with the rocky terrain, and it gives the type of atmosphere that one would expect when visiting the old stomping grounds of a Viking, one who has been traveling across the state in search of new land. As the hiker works his way down the trail, the house that has been constructed to preserve the Runestone will come into view, and so will the beauty that surrounds it. One can almost picture here the campfire as the Vikings settle down for the night and make plans to claim this newfound land. Just to the right of the building containing the Runestone, up a little ways, is a small wall that has been constructed to form a pool that will be filled with water as rainwater runs down the hill. This water has been redirected so that it does not flow across the stone. The Heavener Runestone is a massive stone. It is a vertical slab which fell from a nearby cliff, measuring about 12 feet by 10 feet and 16 inches thick. The stone is very large. The stone is also very hard. It is rated 7 on the Mohs hardness scale. On that same scale, a diamond is rated at 10. This shows that it took a lot of determination and hard work to carve these runes into the stone. There have been 4 runestones found in the Heavener Poto area, and a 5th in the Shawnee. The Poto runestone has been translated as Gloi ALLW, meaning magic or protection to Glowy. It is believed that Glowy is the nickname for Glom. The Shawnee runestone is a Scandinavian named Medoc. Determining if the runes on the stone are authentic is an impossible task. But many tests have been taken to show that the wearing of the edges in relation to the elements shows that the runes are very likely to be authentic, taking into account how hard the stone is, and how the edges on the carving have worn through time, due to the fact that the stone is very well guarded by the cliffs that surround it. Not very much weathering takes place. A pencil mark on the stone would last about 7 years, showing that the stone weathers very slowly. Yet the edges of the runes themselves are rounded and worn with time. Upon leaving the building containing the runestone, the trail begins to wind its way back up at a much sharper incline than before. Upon reaching the top, a great view is given of the surrounding area. Then you continue onward to a much more gradual incline, taking you back to the top where the office is. At the top of the hill, the valley comes into view, showing the whole reason one would want to claim this area so badly. Research wasn't really begun until 1948, when local resident Gloria Stewart decided to undertake the project. She had been in love with the runestone and its mysteries ever since she had seen it as a child. She would devote her life to obtaining signed statements from early settlers and spending time with experts discussing runic writing and translation. It is in great measure due to Gloria Stewart that we have as much information as we do about the runestone, and that we have the Runestone State Park of Heavener, Oklahoma to this day.